In 300 BC, in the city of Cyprus, there lived a wealthy trader named Zeno. During a voyage from Phoenicia to Piraeus, his boat sank, taking all his cargo with it. This single event, beyond Zeno's or anyone's control, suddenly turned a rich man into a poor one. Imagine being Zeno. How would you react if your entire life's work was swept away by the sheer force of nature? What is the proper reaction? Would you be angry? Sad? Would you feel life has cheated you? For most of us, these would be normal reactions, but not for Zeno, the father of Stoicism. A small change can last an eternity, and a slight shift in mindset can lead to larger, more impactful changes later on. The core of Stoicism is the definition of acceptance and indifference. After reading the works of Socrates and other great philosophers, Zeno created and taught Stoicism. According to Zeno, although we don't control what happens to us, we do control how it affects us, and we must use this control effectively, instead of crying over spilled milk, or in this case, drowned goods. Zeno focused on maintaining his composure, remaining calm and neutral despite his predicament. Before we dive into the video, please like the video to help spread Stoic philosophy, and if you haven't already, subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Today, people often view Stoics as unbreakable, unemotional individuals who don't experience extreme emotions like rage or anxiety. But the original idea behind Stoicism was much more than that. It wasn't just a way to describe unemotional people, it was a way to view, describe, and understand the world, a way of life that has endured for centuries. Stoic philosophy can be applied to situations today just as it was thousands of years ago, and its benefits are just as impactful. Stoicism helps us process negative emotions from negative experiences and turn them into thoughts that give us a unique perspective on the world. Perspective is everything, and everyone has different experiences and thus different perspectives. Since the Stoics gathered, discussed, and taught philosophy in public, their general philosophy was widely known. They believed Stoic principles could benefit anyone, so it didn't make sense to hide that knowledge behind the walls of a school or palace courtyards. As a result, everyone from slaves to emperors could learn and become Stoics, and they did. Some of the most notable Stoics include Epictetus, whose name translates to acquired as he was once a slave, Seneca, a renowned statesman, and Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most powerful men ever. The early Stoics practiced what they preached, avoiding all forms of segregation and fighting against inequality. They even invented the word cosmopolitan, which means citizen of the world. Today, we associate this word with diverse cities like New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London. This unity and togetherness were what the Stoics preached. Even when it wasn't popular, women were allowed to learn about Stoicism and become Stoics themselves. Why do so many people adopt Stoicism as a way of life? In a world full of unexpected events, our emotions can get in the way. We don't really get sad because bad things happen to us. We get sad because unexpected bad things happen to us. Rain is a good thing. It waters our plants, provides water for livestock, and keeps the temperature cool and humid. But when a dark cloud catches you outside without an umbrella, it's never a good experience. So why don't we cry when it starts to rain? Because although the situation is bad, we've learned to expect rain. It's unavoidable. We can't control the weather. Although it sucks, the rain passes and the light returns. Stoicism teaches us that we should expect everything bad that can happen will happen. Picture the worst outcome and be content knowing it could happen. One Stoic exercise is known as voluntary discomfort, aimed at increasing gratitude. Sleep on the kitchen floor. Take cold showers instead of hot ones. Eat nothing but potatoes for a few days. This exercise helps you understand that no matter how hard it gets, you'll still survive and potentially thrive if your mindset is right. By enduring these uncomfortable situations, we prepare our minds for future misfortunes. In today's world, where advertisements constantly bombard us, we're made to believe that without the next best thing, looking a certain way, or making a certain amount of money, we'll never be happy. This message is more important now than ever. We enter the world not knowing much. We grow up learning things at home, in school, and by observing the world. The problem is, these sources often teach us differently. Do we need to internalize all this knowledge? If we do, we might set unrealistic expectations for our lives, leaving us disappointed and unsatisfied. That's no way to live. We should focus on improving ourselves for ourselves. We should do things for ourselves, not for any external hope or attachment. Attaching external hopes to our actions almost always leads to disappointment. We often try to fill that emptiness with external things, like buying a fancy car, house, or starting a family, sometimes for their external value, not their internal value. Stoicism teaches that if you approach life this way, you place your happiness in the hands of external forces that can fail. Cars break down, natural disasters wipe out cities, and divorce rates climb higher each year. Even free things come at a cost, space, both physical and mental. As Seneca once wrote, learning to live with less creates space for what truly matters. We must place our happiness on our intrinsic value as humans, not on what we have or can acquire. We must choose to keep a cool head, regardless of what life throws at us, because at the end of the day, we don't control most things that happen to us, but we control how we react to them. This is the dichotomy of control, the most important principle in Stoic philosophy. We must separate what we control from what we can't and determine our value from what we can control. Striving for goals is good, but breaking down when things don't go your way is, in a Stoic's view, useless. Making YouTube videos is easier than being a Roman emperor, but it can still be challenging. First, you form your idea, which takes forever, then research, script, create, edit, title, thumbnail, and finally upload. Everything until you click upload is up to you. However, once you click that button, the power shifts to the YouTube algorithm. Many judge their YouTube or Instagram success by views and followers, metrics largely beyond control. Stoics teach that instead, you should judge your work's success by your effort, not external outcomes. Trust the process. Think of someone working hard for 6 months, feeling they deserve a promotion. They present their performance report to the boss, who thanks them but doesn't grant the promotion. They go home thinking they must suck at their job, not considering other factors like the boss's mood, someone else being better qualified, or the company's financial state. They're upset. If they valued the quality of their report and kept working towards their goal, they could be much happier. It's the right perspective. The goal isn't diminished, just postponed. This mindset shift is crucial. A true Stoic doesn't view success based on financial gain but finds comfort in living a comfortable life without material possessions. The 4 main virtues of Stoicism are wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Stoicism means separating internal from external and choosing our reaction to events. As Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and that space is our power to choose our response. Courage means to persist and resist. Temperance or moderation means doing more with less, saying more with fewer words. While Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk compete at the top of the Forbes list, Stoics believe the limit of wealth is having what is essential and then what is enough. Justice is the most important virtue. It instructs that no one should harm another because we were all born to do good to one another, not just ourselves. Nelson Mandela, one of the most famous African leaders, fought against apartheid and was sentenced to life imprisonment, spending 27 years before being released. When released, he was elected president of South Africa. Many expected him to punish those responsible for apartheid or his imprisonment, but he did not. During his imprisonment, Mandela read Marcus Aurelius and learned core Stoic values, practicing them throughout his life. Instead of seeking revenge, Mandela urged his people to relax and rebuild, stressing that the past was beyond their control and they could only move forward and build a better nation. This is the Stoic way. In modern medicine, Stoicism is central to procedures like rational emotive behavioral therapy and logotherapy. REBT helps patients identify negative thought patterns causing emotional and behavioral issues, allowing them to challenge these thoughts with logic and replace them with healthier beliefs. Logotherapy is based on the Stoic principle that humans are driven by purpose. Even in dark situations, we can find meaning and happiness by discovering our purpose. This is easier said than done, but it's a process like everything else. We must rewire our thinking, replace old habits with new ones, and fix our happiness problems by practicing Stoicism. By focusing on what we can control, we can stop fixating on what we can't and lead happier, more fulfilling lives. Stoicism helps us navigate past and present storms into calmer waters. If our ship sinks and we drown, we can take peace in living a good life, even if it wasn't as long as hoped. Because remember, everything has an end.